Hey everyone, Mr. Mse here. This is a guide for Autopolis with the Audi R18 2016 and the Toyota TS050. So as you start your qualifying lap, you want to use both braking and throttle through this last turn so you can get the car charged up before you start your actual qualifying laps. For the qualifying session, we'll be using the Audi R18, and for the race session, we'll be using the Toyota TS050. So your first braking point is just before you reach the 100 meter sign. You're going to be braking hard for a short while. Quickly ease off of the brakes, let the car do the rotation, and quickly get on the throttle. Straighten up your steering as fast as you can so you can initiate the boost. Then brake just as you pass this path that is on the left. Brake hard for a short moment. Quickly ease off of the brakes, then do a lot of throttle control through these turns. You can also use just a little bit of braking if needed. Then brake just as the curb on the right starts. You want to slowly ease off of the brakes as you go through this hairpin. Straighten up the car before you start to fully accelerate. Then brake and turn in as the curb on the right ends. Don't use too much of your braking power. You just want to use just enough to bring yourself to the inside of the turn and slowly accelerate. Now carefully turn in through here to try to activate the boost, and brake before you reach the second left arrow sign that is on the right. Brake hard for a while, carefully ease off of the brakes, and slowly apply the throttle. Don't be too aggressive as it's easy to spin out here. Then brake before you reach the 50 meter mark. Quick burst of braking, so brake hard for a short moment. Quickly ease off of the brakes, then use a little bit of braking as the curb on the left ends. Then do a lot of throttle control through here, lift off of the throttle, brake just as that left turn ends, brake hard for a short moment, quickly ease off of the brakes, then do a lot more throttle control, get the car pointing towards this apex so you can fully accelerate, then ease off of the throttle as you go through this left turn, carefully accelerate, bring yourself to the left, and brake just as the curb on the left ends. Use some of your braking power so you can bring yourself to the inside of the turn as you slow down, and try to exit this final turn in as straight of a line as possible to activate the boost. That is all for the lap guide. Let's go ahead and talk about the strategies. Before we actually talk about that, I do want to talk about why I'm using two different cars for this daily race. For the qualifying session, the 2016 Audi R18 is the best car in terms of one lap pace. So as you saw through the lap guide, that car's boost is incredibly powerful, so you can accelerate super fast, but its recharge rate through the use of braking is not that good. So you'll only be able to get 1 to 2 laps with the boost before you're left stranded. So if you were to use it in this daily race, so during the actual race itself, you'll be good for 1 to 2 laps, but then after that, you're not getting enough battery charge. So those cars that are more sustainable in terms of battery charge will be able to have an advantage over you. And that's where the Toyota TS050 comes in. First of all, try to be a little careful as you go through your first lap, as the car will be a little squirmy, especially if you have the brake balance towards the rear of the car. But going back on topic, the Toyota TS050, its boost is alright, it's not the best, but its recharging rate through the use of braking is good enough to make it sustainable to have it last throughout the entire race. You practically don't even have to think about it. All you need to do is bring the brake balance towards the rear of the car as the battery charges up faster if you have the brake balance set there, and you just forget about it. You're pretty much good to go, and that'll also help the tire wear on the Toyota TS050. And that's going to help make this race basically Toyota TS050 one make race. But going on to the tires and the pit strategy and all that stuff, this is going to be an easy no-stop race. The fuel consumption rate is too low for it to cause any worry, and for the tire wear rate, it's low enough to not cause much of an issue at all. It's going to depend on how you have your brake balance set and how you're driving and if you're constantly under the dirty air. So under the best case scenario, so you have the brake balance towards the appropriate amount towards the back of the car, you're constantly under clean air and you drive relatively error free, tire wear will pretty much be trivial. However, if you are under the dirty air, as an example, your car will be a little more understeery since you're not getting the downforce you need, especially in the higher speed turns, and that's going to cause your car to understeer a bit more. You try to turn in more, and that's going to create more tire wear. So if you're constantly under the dirty air of the car in front of you, then you just want to be a bit more mindful about that. The tire wear, once again, will not be much of an issue, not bad enough to where you have to go to the pit stop, but it's something that you still want to keep in the back of your mind if you're constantly behind someone. If you're within 3/4 of a second behind someone, then you're going to be getting the dirty air, so just watch out for that. And this track is going to be incredibly difficult for doing any sort of overtaking. Half of it is because of the dirty air, and half of it is because of this track and how it's mostly all twisty and all that stuff. Pretty much your best places to overtake is on the main straight, which is where I'm at right now, and this second part of the straight that is just after the first turn. If you're able to get a good exit and take advantage of the slipstream, then it's possible for you to get an overtake happening. But other than that, everywhere else, it's going to be really difficult to do any sort of overtaking unless if the car in front of you messes up. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this guide. Once again, this is an easy no-stop race. Use the Toyota TS050 for the actual race itself, but for the qualifying time trial, use the Audi R18. Just try to get the best time possible so you can have a better chance of starting more towards the front of the pack, which means that you'll have less dirty air to deal with, less battles, and hopefully you'll end up getting better results that way. But that is pretty much it from me. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So this is Mr. MCA, wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.